have some Q&A to do. I hope you're doing fine, 'cause it's Q&A time again. Hello world, how's it going? Hope you guys are all doing great. If not, as always, I hope it gets better for you. Hope you guys are around here. So welcome to another Friday Night Live Q&A, where you can ask me, your host, LRB, about keeping freshwater fish, shrimp, and or plants. So we do this every 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, Friday. I am a little late here. Just hopping on, had to get everything going. My gimbal's not working right, so we'll see how long it lasts. Got like 1 bar of charge. May have to hold it this whole time, but whatever. I'm here for you guys, trying to help you guys, so that's what we're here for. If you're having problems with your aquariums, just curious about certain things or how something might work or compatibility, or now when it comes to asking me what you should get for your fish tank, that should always be up to you. We do get those questions. Now if you're like in between like certain ones where you're like wondering, oh, should I get this or this, it's a little easier to help on that. But your fish should always be the fish that you want, not what somebody else wants. So always keep that in mind. And yeah, so glad to be back here, back at home. Excited to be at home, even though I was at a lovely spot here last weekend. Got rejuvenated from that, but when I go and have that time off, it's always great to get that motivation for when you get back to your house. Absolutely love these barbs over here. They should be a good show throughout the show for you guys to watch. And hello, all you awesome people in the chat. Great to see y'all in here. And looking for questions. Oh, I gotta get in live chat. Oh, Joel G, now you're just trolling me. Should I get a guppy or a guppy? I'd probably get a guppy or guppies. Oh, whoa, wrong button. Here we are. Let's see, what else? There was I'm not seeing any questions yet, so I guess I'll ramble on for a while. But oh, there was something else I needed to talk to you guys about, but I can't even remember right now. Boom. All right. Let's see. Oh, we'll have a video out on Sunday for you guys, that feeding video of the waters around that place that I was staying. Absolutely cool, because you could see right through everything. Water clarity was amazing. I feel like there was one other thing I had to talk to you guys about. Boom. All right. Please help. Miles Tyson says, I had over 40 cherry shrimp in a 20-gallon for well over 6 months. Always had snails with them. I was gone for 3 days and half the shrimp are gone and the snails are overtaking the tank. Weird. 40 cherries in 20 gallons is not very much, and for just being gone for 3 days isn't a long time for your shrimp to just like die from not enough food or whatever. And I keep snails in with my shrimp. Now they can compete with food, but there's usually not an issue as far as them attacking each other or anything like that. And while I was gone for almost, let's see, 5 days just about, I had nobody feed my aquariums. I didn't put any food in these aquariums at all. I didn't have any losses. Like even my baby fish are still alive. So I don't think it was the 3 days gone that caused us a problem there. Now if you had somebody feed them while you're gone, maybe they overfed and maybe that became a problem, and or those shrimp are just still hiding in there and you just don't see them, because shrimp are really good at that. I had a 180-gallon bow front, tons of rocks in it, and it wasn't until that bow front leaked that I started tearing down all the rocks, pulling them all out, and I realized that the shrimp have actually created tunnels under a lot of these flat rocks, just like an ant would do out in the nature. So who knows, maybe you're not seeing them. If you see bodies, that's a whole different story. And usually you're gonna see excess food. And that's what big snail population booms usually come from, is excess food. So hopefully that helps get you on track. Ross Fish Rack says, hey, what's up, LRB? I tried doing an infusoria with peas and then with yeast, none worked. What do you think it could be? I don't know if did you just try it in a bottle? I know Jack Heller, he actually uses dog food or cat food. I've got a video of Jack Heller's killifish room. He actually tells you how he makes infusoria in that. I've never actually done it to where I've tried to make it. It's just come in naturally through some of my shrimp tanks, and that's how I get mine. So I don't have a whole lot of expertise on how to just create it out of a container. But I'm pretty sure it's just the breaking down of organic materials that, I don't know how organic cat and dog food is, but something for them to feed on. It seems like peas would work. I don't know about yeast, because yeast is also small and it could be eaten what the infusoria would eat. Did you eat a Cubano? No, I didn't end up eating a Cubano. We actually ended up making most of our food down there. The girls like to play house and cook and stuff, so we let them do that. Matt Riddle says, how's them newts? The newts, I guess, are alright. I don't know. I hardly ever see them, so I'm really glad I made that video because I get to see them in the video, but I haven't really seen them much after that. I've seen one pop its head out, like, I think it was a couple days ago, so not long after we came back. I did put blackworms in there, so they've got Daphnia, they got shrimp, they got blackworms, they got all kinds of natural things to eat. But I haven't really seen much of them. I'm hoping they'll come out sometime, more often. Got some springtails on the way. I didn't want to order them yet because I knew I'd be gone, but now that I'm home, I don't have to worry about it. So here's the hoping they come back out. GK Aquatics, can new dwarf neon rainbow fry eat BBS, or do I need to find smaller food? So I actually just crush up my dry food, which is tetracolored tropical granules. You can do the same with flake. Baby brine shrimp, I think would be too big. I think it would be too big from the get-go. That's why I do the no filter thing. And with these baby fish, it works so well with the whole no filter. So if you got no tank or you got a tank with, well, honestly, if you really want to have a lot of success with the dwarf neon rainbow fish or any kind of fry, you want a more shallow tank too. So keep that in mind. Have a shallower container and no filter and just raw water. If you got a shrimp tank, maybe take their water. They're going to have the small little organisms. You can use spirulina as well. That can help. Let's see. Gary Lang, he uses this micron food. That works pretty well. I've tried it. I'm not a real big fan of it. Like, my granules just work alright. And then the microorganisms eat off that for what the fish don't eat. And holy moly. Big D showing up big as always, throwing down that $50 super chat. Showing up big. Thank you. Says, sup bro, I wanted to let you know that my blue shrimp I got from you and that I mixed with my blue really just had babies. They're looking awesome. I'll send you some pics of them. Dang, that was fast, bro. You must really got them comfortable and living good for them to be popping already. That's great to hear. And yeah, keep me updated. Hope they start doing what you need them to do. But thank you. I can never thank you enough, Big D. And I won't ever forget you, that's for sure. But thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. Do the newts eat isopods? I don't know. I think an isopod would be too big for the new Atkins Nature Aquariums. Try to scroll back up here to those questions. Sunset Jen says, setting up a new tank driftwood, Java ferns, and moss. No fish yet. Lots of brown algae. Is it okay to temporarily put some shrimp in there to clean up the algae? Thanks. Yeah, definitely, for sure. If you got the driftwood and that diatom algae, the shrimp and we'll have something to chew on and eat. Let's see, I don't know what you're, and plus if you're planning on putting fish in there too, if you want to have shrimp in a community tank, it's always best to start with shrimp as well. World Aquarium Singapore House Aquashella. Aquashella was great. It was a couple weekends ago. Turned out really well. The second day was slow just because being on Halloween, and I think that was quite a gamble. I don't know how good of an idea it was to have it on Halloween, but I absolutely enjoyed it because everybody dressed up in costumes, and that was really cool to see and really fun. Made the Aquashella just that much more fun. And did have a video on them, a couple of videos on the Aquashella channel, which they actually got a channel now where they do live streams if you guys want to see those. Scroll, scroll, scroll. Alright, I think I'm caught up there. Since there's only 101 in here, that's crazy. I'm going to do my best to get to everybody's questions. Marvin's Loach Gardens. I'm a real big fan of 120s, but what's your ideal size footprint for a display tank? I would say 215's really looking nice. That's what I've got down here. And bang for the buck. I think that's a good footprint. And also the 125s if you want to go a little smaller. The 6-foot tanks are always great for display because they're long. The 215's kind of deep. The 125 is really, really manageable. And yeah, YouTube got rid of the whole dislike button thing. I think that's just insanity. I cannot believe they did that. But that's just going to kill channels like mine, because people don't have anything to judge them on anymore. Like if you watch a video like, oh, it's got like 52 likes or 100 likes or 500 likes, it doesn't really look like anything if it doesn't have any contrast or comparison to it. Because most of my videos, a lot of my channel or videos get 95 to close, a lot of them 99% like ratio, and you can't see that, and I don't know, it's just crazy what they're doing with YouTube. Well, the reason why I mentioned that, I see people talking about the like button, and I appreciate you guys hitting the like button. That's awesome, really helps out. And I just can't believe they got rid of that dislike button. And you know why they did. They don't want the consensus showing their face. Rudy Mueller Schrader says, best online source for Caridina. No local breeders where I am, and not much variety on Aquabid right now. Also, how long do you recommend cycling a Caridina tank? So, if you're looking for Caridinas, I would probably check out either Flip Aquatics or Grant Eater. I don't know what his website is, but I believe they both have good quality Caridinas where you don't have to worry so much. I think Grant may even supply Flip sometimes. I'm not 100% sure. But either of those two would be good for those. And he was testing our limits. And Wild Wesley, they don't call him Wild Wesley for nothing. But should be able to go back down there here in February, and we'll probably get a video out for you guys of that. Radical Lamp says, struggling with my neons getting ick, then bloat. Now I think I see velvet. Oh my god. Is Copper Safe my best option in planted species only tank? My quarantine tanks are all occupied. Any tips? Well, sounds like that tank just became a quarantine tank. As far as like getting ick and then bloating and then you think you see his velvet, like there's something definitely wrong with the water quality and how your neons fill in that tank. So their immunity is super low. So when you think about your fish, they're a lot like us, and they have immunities and health systems that keep them going. And if they're just put in the wrong type of water, they become really susceptible to things. It's like if you were put out in the cold for too long. So I don't know, check your temperatures, check your water parameters, make sure that they're okay for what you got, where you got them from. Maybe they just came in with everything, because it's just, once in a while you'll get those wholesalers and those stores that they're not really doing that much to combat things, and everything gets mixed together. That's why I always get my fish baths. I wash them out, make sure that none of the water that comes from another aquarium store or somewhere else gets into my water systems. Because when that happens, you start running into so many problems. And ever since I started giving those fish baths and taking that procedure with my new fish, I haven't had any problems. So prevention, first of all, can go a long way. Now, as far as like getting ick and then bloat, your fish are just not happy. Like with the ick, I would have just turned up the temperature, let it die off naturally without putting stuff in there. As far as the bloat, you can have internal parasites that may have grown up after all that in, because you got to think, if you add that water from that place that you got them, that's just like the dirtiest petri dish that you just don't know what's in it. And that could just be a string of things that just started coming out and causing these series of problems. And with the velvet, they just, if they're not happy, like their skin coat can just, they can have problems. So that's why I really mean to check the water, because you'll see a lot of that come through that. And as far as copper safe, I personally wouldn't use it. I would use something more like catappa leaves, antifungal, antibacterial approach. That's more natural. And yeah, definitely check that water. But prevention goes a long way when it comes to those problems. And a lot of times quarantines are nothing but new tanks, really. That's how I got to all these tanks. And if water parameters are fine, yeah, it had to come from what you added in there. And that's why it's really important to get from a good source. And that's why locally our, oh, sorry, I missed this super chat because I got on that rant, but that's why local bread is really, really sought out in this hobby. Man, I am way back on chat, way back. ADHD Aquatics, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. It says, boop, boop, get that robot on. Thank you so much, I appreciate it. I need to get in that robot mindset. Let's see, how are your tiger antlers doing? So my rainbow tiger antlers, I actually don't keep those anymore, because I was mixing them with stuff, and then like my regular colony kind of just dwindled off. That's when I started learning about guppies. And if you keep, this is why you don't want to keep the big female guppies, because they will actually start taking out a lot of your males and stuff. So you gotta watch out for those big female guppies. But I still have blood from them. Like I've got them and some albino galaxy guppies that I mixed, and a mixed line of them. And then I've got another tank where I was working on these versions 2.0, where they had like, the colors were more insane, but I could not like really stamp down a solid, consistent color. So that project kind of went back into nothing. And I mean, you don't always win it when it comes to the genetic game of playing with guppies and antlers, and that kind of took away some of my colonies of them as well. Dragon Blade says, I have some adult rainbow fishes in a 40 breeder, but I'm trying to put them in a 125, but the water doesn't match. Know what to do. What I do help. I have some adult rainbow fish in a 40-gallon breeder, but I'm trying to put them in a 125, but the water doesn't match. Don't know what to do. If the water doesn't match all the way, I don't know how far off it is. Rainbow fish are pretty tolerant, and it's not really that hard to change your water if you really think about it with the TDS, and then the acidity and alkalinity and how that all works. But you could always use the aquarium water from your 40 gallon to go into the 125, but you could have something buffering it in your 125 if you got some different substrate in there or different driftwood. Not sure why it would be different if you're using the same kind of water. But dwarf neons are really tolerant. Carla Mullenkamp says, are ghost shrimp Caridina or neocaridina? I think they may be like a paracaridina or something completely different. I'm not really sure. Because caridina and neocaridina aren't really the only two types. And to be honest, I'm not that educated on the other shrimp. Like, just mostly neocaridinas and caridinas. Mopar Fanboy says, my temple plants getting stem rot anytime I plant them, but strangely having no issues floating. Any advice on planting them? So that happens with a lot of plants. Like, they grow really well if you just float them. The temple plant, I've never had a whole lot of luck with it myself when planting it. And I don't know how truly aquatic it is. Yeah, so Terry, Tropical Tanks, the dislike button is there, but it doesn't tell you what the dislikes are. Oh, there are 3 times dislike. Oh, well, see, there you go. That's weird. It tells you the dislike on that. Okay. We still got the dislike in New Zealand. So, like my last video that I put out with the newts, they took off the dislike on that. I wonder, like, if they only do certain accounts with it, as far as, like, who can see it or whatnot. Oh, Eric Lucas is good to buy pet shrimp, too, with Caridina. Let's see. Scroll. Douglas Trantham says, just got a 29-gallon planted setup and need to get some shrimp. How many do you recommend, and would Skittles be good for a beginner? How soon can I add them? Okay, so when it comes to neocaridinas, they're all the same as far as the color variations of neocaridinas. Cherries and yellows and blues, they're all pretty much the same care. And Skittles is a mix of that, pretty much, Coles. And they are good for beginners if you like the different color schemes. A lot of people usually just go off the color that they enjoy. And being a 29-gallon, I would probably go with about 10 shrimp to start, 10, 12. And of course, the more you get, the deeper your gene pool will be. But 10 to 12 is usually a pretty good start for something like that. And how soon can you add them? If your tank's already been through a cycle of at least 3 weeks, now, if you have another tank to jump start it with some mulm, you can squeeze some dirty foam in there and jump start it even faster, kind of season it up, pepper it per se with your mulm. That can really, you can start like that day if you do that. And I would definitely make sure that you have the right type of water for neocaridinas as well. Like, you're going to want to make sure you got hard water and not soft water. If you got soft water, start looking at them caridinas. Dave, I appreciate you removing the dislike. But that's interesting that some of you guys saw the dislike button and, like, I don't see it. It's weird. Now, if I look into my analytics, I'll see it, but not on my channel. Texas Fish says, I'm using 2 Hyper-Tough 5,000 lumen and 5K shop light on a 150-gallon tall. Would that be considered low light or medium light? So 5,000 lumens, that's pretty powerful. The 5K kind of dims it down a little bit. The color spectrum isn't as white and blue. It's more towards that yellow. I'd probably consider that medium light. Because 5,000 lumens is quite a bit. I usually shoot for about 4,000 lumens over like a 125 or something. 150 is a little deeper. But I would, if possible, I would try to find more of a 6K or a 65K shop light. I know they're harder to find, but they are out there. Yes, Aqua Gardens, and I totally agree. People get upset when you thumbs down, but it's healthy to know whether you're doing a good job or not. Exactly. Like, that's how we can judge and get better with our videos. Like that Newt tank one, I almost had 500 likes without a dislike, which is almost unheard of. But I think it's because I was bringing you guys along with the experience and sharing the story of adding them in and letting you guys see that without talking too much. And you got to really get to know your audience too, and that dislike helps you figure that out. Oh yeah, I got all the way back there. I think I got to all the questions though. Who knows how far down I am. Pentastar says, do you keep P. villifera, Yucatan Peninsula, giant sailfin mollies? I have some wonderful fish. Oh, those are awesome fish. I absolutely love them. I wish I had some and space for them, or I totally would. I mean, I would probably get rid of this swordtail tank that I have down here and put those in it. But those are cool fish. Huge, huge sailfins. Joel G, thank you so much, brother, for the $2. Says, what's your favorite granule? You know, it's that tropical granule. But thank you, Joel. I appreciate you, brother, and for watching for so long, man. You've been around for a long time. Really appreciate all your support. Palmer Aquatic Clip says, I love you, LRB. Honest opinion on Eco Complete. Well, Palmer, great to see you in here, brother. Hope you're doing well. And my opinion, honest opinion on Eco Complete. So I like it, but it has a lot of drawbacks. One, it's sharp. It's too sharp for Corydoras. Not a very good substrate for those fish that like to wiggle and wriggle onto the substrate, such as loaches and or cory cats. And as far as plants, it works really well because it holds the mineralization. But honestly, I get better growth out of sand than I do the Eco Complete. I do like it over, I hate to say it, the Bright Well. That's mostly because the Bright Well just doesn't look natural. ADA, I would probably prefer it over ADA over Eco Complete, but that's so expensive. It's insane. But it's not very messy, and it's easy to clean too, so there's a big pro in that as well. Super easy to clean. But glad to see you in here, brother. Let's see, the fishing mailman says, how much longer are you going to be shipping this year? Oh, that was the other thing I meant to mention at the beginning of the live stream, was we will not be shipping this week because it'll be Thanksgiving. And we just don't want to risk it during Thanksgiving, the holiday week. So there'll be Christmas week we won't ship, and this Thanksgiving week we won't ship. We'll ship the week after, the following week. So all orders put in there will be set for that. And yeah, besides that, those are the only 2 weeks we'll really be taking off, unless something really crazy happens with USPS or there's some crazy storm or something. But besides that, we just ship all year round. We haven't had any problems. We use USPS and haven't had any shipbacks for quite a while. Oh, Green Ghost says, I have 2 tanks of rainbow tiger antlers, so they do live on. And that's another great thing to know too. Yeah, that there are people that still have that rainbow tiger antler line all over. So if I did want to pick them up, I could pick them up again. I think a lot of the lines that I'm keeping right now, I kind of want to get rid of. Like, I want to start working on new things. And so I don't know how long a lot of my lines that I have on the website will still be there, because it's not always indefinite. And you know, I mean, I like to switch it up, especially with my collectoritis and so many of these new types that I've been creating. Like I really gotta legitimately start working on those because there's some really cool ones. Cole Moore says, how's it going, Lucas? My money wort still seems to be growing and curled, crimped, even though I moved it into a new fur. Any ideals? Curled and crimped. If you do grow it underneath water, it does kind of start growing into a smaller form than opposed to if it's just floating. That is kind of natural for it to curl and crimp a little bit. And it does grow slower under the water. Let's see. Let me flip you over. Whoa, that light. Ah! It's even hard to see through here because there's so many lights. I mean, whoa. It does like light. But here you can see it curling and crimping a little bit. Like on the leaves back there. Okay. Look at those roots. Yeah, that looks so cool. Alright, I'm gonna get lost in these tanks. Ooh, look at them little embers. Take a fish watching break. Little killie in there. Bristlenose down there. Some rainbows, tetras, emperors. I don't know where the catfish are. Alright, scroll. It's always good to get distracted by the fish just for a second. Scroll. I have no clue where I was. So I'm probably going to miss some of your guys' questions. Because trying to get back there, I am like way off of chat. So sorry if I missed your guys' questions. I'm going to have to scroll back down to the bottom. Leo Contreras, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Leo says, Mr. Placo, where the funk you at? LOL, Lucas, your top floating plant or aquarium plant for nitrates in a Placo tank. I would go with either pearlweed, so you could do the Brazilian pennywort. I really love the Brazilian pennywort, especially if you got a rack or something, because you can really mold and form it, and it kind of covers and hides the stuff back in the bag, and it grows fast, so you can, I mean, it's not hard to shape, and it really gets those nitrates out. So you could do that, or I would go with like a pearlweed. Tiger lily's alright too. It does a pretty good job. Usually get algae and stuff. Are you guys hungry? Like everybody's so hungry right now. Yum. But yeah, floating pearlweed is awesome at it too. I got this water sprite I've been using, but it goes too crazy. You could do rotalias too. You could do Luigias. Here's like pearlweed. That's what that looks like. Boom. You can even do Val's. Valsinaria actually worked pretty well too. These tanks need some water. Since I ain't been home for very many weekends lately, well, a lot of my tanks need some love. But man, look at all them shellies. They're quick. I've been pulling out of them lately. Even these shellies came out. Shelly guppy tank. But yeah, Brazilian pennywort. That's what I would go for. They all think they're getting fed. We're only 30 minutes in, guys. I shouldn't have stood up. I'm teasing them all. What substrate do you have in most of your tanks? Honestly, I got Eco-Complete in most of my tanks. And a lot of them. I started with Eco-Complete the most. Just because it is a good substrate for growing plants and easy to clean, like I said. I mean, you do get good growth out of it. Look at this Mulmonite crypt right here, and what all you can see, well, maybe without the glare, all the root stuff in it. Because as waste breaks down too, since it's all kind of lava rock, a lot of beneficial bacteria, it can really hold on to the substrate in there. And as far as like longevity goes, it's really good. Chocolate Austral Killy, he's super old. A little bristle nose. That guy had to have been born in here, being that small. Dun. Just random killies. Ooh, look at that rollus back there. Okay, fish. Oh, well, I broke that tank. Slammed my chair in it. But I just need a bigger place. Like, I am so outgrowing this house. There's not enough tank space. Will pearlweed do good in soft water? It'll do good in soft water if you're ferting your tanks, if you're feeding it. It does like the harder water. It really will absorb that harder water. But I've grown it in soft water as well. And good to see you in here, Motor City Aquatics. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, I'm going all the way back down. Lucas, what is the current tank count, Lucas? I have no idea. No clue. Jessica Hussey says, LRB, do you keep any cichlids? I have some angelfish upstairs, but... And some kind of laticara. Can't remember. The zebra laticaras or something like that. I think that's the only two that I have at the moment. Are those? Down. Scrolling. And you know, guppy grass is always a good floating plant too. But thank you again, Leo, for that super chat up there. Why you got on that mission of looking at tanks. Have you bred Morse code tetras? I have not. See, I've got harder water, so tetras are a little tougher for me. Granted, I could do the soft water. It's just, that's another reason why I need more space. Actually, this rack that I am building is going to cater to breeding more tetras. Texas Fish says, is that an amphisemia Australian hard water? That is an amphisemia Australian hard water. What's those fish with the red tips behind you? Those are Docasea assimilis. They're a type of mascara barb. Comes from the southern Ghats, western Ghats of India. I love them. Fluffy McCumber says, if I have a lot of bladder snails, would they starve out my shrimp? I have them dying and have done some mini tests and have leaves and such. That seems good. So since you've got leaves and whatnot in there, that could be what's feeding a lot of your pond snails. That'll also feed your shrimp. So if there's stuff like that in there already, you're not starving out your shrimp. Now, if there was like nothing like that in there, then maybe there's some competition with food if you're not feeding enough. But sounds like you still got some food in there for them. So maybe they're just hiding. Glitch Aquatics. Well, my house may be for sale here, so we can get more property. She says, Lucas, I need an American visa so I can buy your house. I'd be in heaven. Well, that might be somebody's lucky chance, actually. We'll see. We'll see how we do it. Because we got a couple options since this is our first house. And if we were to actually like tear down the fish room, I could probably make more money doing it that way. But I also got to have the investment to put it to it, because I've kind of got a, what you would call a ghetto masters in real estate and construction and building. And I could easily, well, not easily, but if I had the finances, I could get probably about 400K out of this house. Xanadu, if I rebuild another whole level and stuff on it. Xanadu 20, Xanadu, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. It says, LRB rocks. That's all I have to offer. I really appreciate everything you do. Are you joining the Fish Fan Christmas stuff at all? I'm not sure what's going on with that, but I'm glad you mentioned it to me, and I will try to keep an eye out for any of that. I'm not sure what all you're referring to. First time I've heard of it, but thank you so much, Xanadu, for the $20 super chat. And I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. And you rock as well, Xanadu. That is awesome. It's a big super chat. The fish fam is the best. Absolutely love this community. But it would probably take me like 200 grand to even build that next 200 to 250 grand to get the house to that. But at the same time, I would also just say forget that and sell this house off to somebody who would actually be able to take on the task of keeping it up and stuff. Which it really isn't that hard. As far as the work involved, I mean, you'd be surprised how much work I don't do in here. Obviously, I've spent like whole summer moving rocks around and stuff instead of messing with my tanks. Glitch Aquatic says, now to find a husband, LMAO. So, if anybody's looking for a wife, get a hold of Glitch Aquatics. You gotta be in America and have some money to buy a fish house. I think that's the only criteria. She may have more for you, but that's funny. W. Marion says, can you discuss Taiwan lily versus pennywort? Different parameters, different tips. I've tried with Taiwan lilies 3 times. Now it just fades out for me. Well, as far as Taiwan lilies and Brazilian pennywort, I've kept them in both parameters. Really not a whole lot of difference in them. Why you're struggling with your Taiwan lilies? I think they do prefer more of the ferts. They do prefer to be fed more than Brazilian pennyworts. Brazilian pennywort, it could care less if you're giving fertilization into the tank. But the Taiwan lily can be more sensitive to it as far as what you'll see with its growth. It'll be skinnier if you don't feed it first, so maybe it's just absorbing too much and starving itself out. I'm not really sure why you're having a whole lot of trouble with it. Because even with soft water, it doesn't mind soft water. It likes some soft water. Too Coolie for Schoolie says, I have new hill stream loaches that are only interested in sucking on the glass. They ignore the stones with algae. I'm afraid they'll starve. Well, I mean, they really kind of know what's best for themselves, so maybe you just got the stuff on the glass is just yummier, or maybe they're eating the stuff on the rocks at night. They don't like really eat like the hair grass algae. They eat more of the like biofilm and stuff on things and the microorganisms that feed off of that. Homesick for Florida. It's snowing here. Man, Florida would be so nice. Their weather, oh my lord. So we're really torn on where we would move. We've actually been looking at 7 different states. We've gone through like most of the listings of everything with 5 acres and above. And we're really stuck on Oklahoma and Florida right now. Oklahoma would be perfect for shipping. The only problem is their taxes are terrible. Florida would be good for that. And Florida's got the weather. But Oklahoma is like right in the middle of the whole country. Pretty much. It's not far off America's geographical center, which I think is up north in Canada or Kansas somewhere. Lucas, what's your local water like? We're around 350 TDS usually, 330, 360, sometimes 400. Used to be above that, used to be 400 plus. pH is insane when it comes out too. W. Marion says, the Christmas giveaways are something you can sign up as a host. Check out Rico Stan. He is running the sign up and he would show up on your live stream to do giveaway. Oh, very interesting. Yeah, I'll see if I can check out Rico Stan and see what's going on. What to do? I suppose the tanks look after themselves to some degree. Yeah, the tanks really do look after themselves As far as like cleaning the front glass, I haven't cleaned the front glass in these tanks for, God, I don't even know how long. Probably almost a year on most of them. And they've just kind of balanced themselves out. Since I do have hard water, since I do kind of blend it in with my RO sometimes, that's what keeps the calcium from building up on the glass. Really, the outside of most of the glass in my aquariums is the dirtiest. But yeah, they are all just kind of like their own little ecosystems anymore. They just keep growing and going. It's pretty awesome, really. I feel blessed to be able to keep this many tanks as effortlessly as I do, and to have learned that. And that's why I'm here, to help you guys and try to share that with you guys the best I can articulate it. Lee Rose says, hi Lucas, how can I eliminate green hair algae? So when it comes to green hair algae, usually it's too much light and too much excess nutrient. Often we overlight our aquariums very often, especially when we first get into them, because we're thinking about the sun. We think about how heavy that sun like really is in the summer, and plants growing, and you think about a garden and all that. Well, with planted aquariums, it's not quite as necessary for that big boom of light. When it comes to a lot of these plants, when they grow in the wild, they grow in more shaded areas and creeks and cubbies and whatnot. So they do really well with just even ambient light. So that's why I've just used these shop lights. As you can see, that one's, they're not even on the tank, so you don't even have that real direct light on them. So that's the major thing that will cause your green hair algae. So to eliminate it is to help prevent it. And also more plants can help eat up the excess nutrients. So you can either raise up your light and also add more plants to help take up some of them nutrients. Or just get a dimmer light. And let's see. So hopefully that'll help. And then manually remove what you can. Do a water change after you manually remove that. That way you don't get all the little particles that get stuck everywhere as much. And give it time. You're not going to kill it all overnight. If you do the manual removal and then the prevention, give it like a couple weeks, you should be alright. You'll see a difference. Absolute Zero says, any word on CPDs? I'm looking to get breeding trios from a high quality breeder as yourself. Also getting your shrimp and plants. So as far as my CPDs, I'm still not ready to let go of them. I haven't been able to breed them like I have been wanting to, because I just haven't had time with all the talks that I ended up getting into and all that stuff. So we'll see. I'm still working on it. I mean, so many people are wanting those CPDs. So I wish I could, but then I also got fish like the Glossolepis maculosus that I'm pretty much the only one that has, and I've got to get those breeding as well. There's a lot on the breeding list that needs to be done. Makes it tough. If I had more organized space, it's rough when everything's in like so many different areas. It's all broke up. Can't wait to centralize everything. That's what I really need to do. And then have more space to actually deal with the production of them all. Fernando Rajo, I hope I said that all right. I said, I've got pothos on top of my tank for about a year, growing good, but now some branches and leaves are turning yellow. What could this be? Could just be natural death and dying, depending on where that's happening. If it's happening on like your growth tips, I would be more concerned. Maybe that's sucked out all the nutrients. But usually I think that's a nitrogen or potassium thing. Can't remember. I'm I'm not a Pothos pro either, though. Yeah, Texas is not a bad idea. We haven't really looked in Texas too much. But yeah, no income taxes. Great. You guys also have the harder water. See, Florida's really known for its water. That's a big reason why there's a lot of fish farms down there. But you think about it, when you got a ship in the winter, everything's hot down there. And then you got to ship into the cold, it makes it a little more difficult. Amy Norris says, I'm from Oklahoma. It's kind of boring, huh? And the people are weird. I mean, weird's fun. And shoot, all I need is my fish. I don't need a whole lot of jazz to keep me going. If I got my fish room and some land, good, good. I did look at Arkansas quite a bit, so. Scrolling for questions. I have a group of CPDs that are breeding readily, but I keep losing a majority of the fry before they become free swimming. Any ideas on what could be going wrong? So if you have shallower waters, if you want more success with the CPDs, put the fry into a more shallow container, and that will help them, and then also keep them warm. You're going to want to keep them in the 80s when you're growing them up. When they're babies, they need that warmth to keep going. Then just have the micron food too as well, which I like to have a natural tank. So when you're doing like the micron food, this is another thing, is water quality comes into play, because sometimes those fish aren't eating, all that micron food, and that's why the no filter tank setups work really well, because you have that bacteria. I ate a bunch of pizza, but they have that bacteria and the microorganisms that'll eat off of that and help balance out any excess foods and stuff. So hopefully that'll help you. So shallower, more natural container for them. Yes, everywhere has its natural disasters. Yeah, we found a really nice place in Florida, and we just found out today that it was in a flood zone, and there's quite a bit of hurricanes that run through, and I kind of like took away half the yards, so now we're kind of back at square one. It was like our front runner house. And then we got one in Oklahoma that's kind of front running too. It's like 30 acres. Because we've got to have a house, and the hard part is we don't plan on moving for another 20-30 years if we buy this place. So it's like, do you buy one that has a nice house and then you build up onto it? Because we still got to be able to turnkey the operation as well. So we got to be real picky about the property, because we don't want to put a whole lot of work in it, and we're on limited funds. And big reason only that we could even do this is because my girl's got a retirement fund, and that can help float us. And then if we make some money off the sale of this house, because we got this house for a steal of a deal. We got this house for half of what it's worth. Luckily I kind of planned into all that. Alan Tooth 48, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, Alan. It was great to meet you at the Florida Talk in Pasco County. It says, good evening, Lucas. I just wanted to thank you for the excellent lecture you gave at the Pasco County Aquarium Club. Did you say that large guppies eat the smaller male guppies or endlers? I love your channel. So something goes on with those large females. I've learned with my community tanks, if I let those large females just run amok and I like just save all those, I don't know if they go just biting up the male endlers or what happens, but you'll just start seeing less and less of them, and your colonies will start getting smaller. And I've seen it in so many strains of my guppies and endlers, because some of those endlers, they can get pretty good sized females. Doesn't happen as often with the endlers, more with the guppies. But those females are doing something to the males of them. And I think it gets confused sometimes with the temperature thing too. Some people will blame it on temperature, but I believe it. Oh no, there goes my gimbal. So I'm gonna have to, I don't know how this is gonna work. It's gonna suck trying to hold this by hand. Oh wait, but we only got about 5 minutes left. But yeah, just watch your colonies. If you see that happening, that'll give you a good reason of what's going on. Alright, sorry it's gonna get shaky, guys, but I'm off my gimbal. My battery finally died. But thank you again, Alan Tooth. Really appreciate the support. Like, you guys, thank you all that have supported and bought and just hit up the thumbs up, and even on here watching, asking questions. Like, without you guys, seriously, you guys are helping me live the dream to be able to share with you guys and learn with you guys, and it's I feel so blessed. So thank you all. Kevin Rosenberg says, thoughts on lamp eye killifish? I just got 12 for my dirted 10-gallon, loving them so far. Oh yeah, definitely, Kevin, love the lamp eye killifish, especially with the dirted natural tank. You get a dim light on it, have like more of the low tech kind of low light look, and you get that reflection shining off on them. If you can kind of like point your light more towards the back, that way when you look into your tank, it's got like the sheen of them and everything. It'll really make them pop. But absolutely love them. And Colin Fowler, thank you so much for the $5 super chat, brother. Says, just catching the end, but thanks for all the work, man. Well, thank you. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you. Your camera is searching for that beard hair you just dropped, LOL. Did I lose one? Another one? That's how I keep it trimmed. Best way to catch a SAE in a heavily planted tank. Just pray a lot to God. Hope for good luck. Yeah, SAEs in a heavily planted tank's almost like trying to catch a Chinese algae eater in a heavily planted tank. It's not easy. I would say try to do it at night. You may get lucky and catch them sleeping. So go ahead and preset the net in there, maybe 2 nets. Put a net on one side and a net on the other side. And then just wait until nighttime, into the middle of the night. And have somebody hold a flashlight for you, or try to use your chin or whatever to hold a flashlight. Maybe get a headlamp on, and then try to catch them in a sleep. It's about the best way you can do it. Let's see. Scrolling. And sorry I missed any of your guys' questions. I'm all over the place on this chat. How do you fix potassium deficiency? My ferns have pinholes. Sometimes you'll naturally get pinholes just from leaves going through their natural decaying process. But yeah, you just dose potassium. Oh wait, I could always use that. Oh crap, that didn't work. Hello. Jeez. You guys only got about a minute left of this madness, so thanks for hanging on. Taking you guys for a ride on this. How do Barbed tetras give birth, live or egg? So barbs and tetras give egg. They do the egg thing. You know, Tennessee is kind of like the weather of Oklahoma. I have considered Tennessee, but I used to live in Tennessee as well. And Tiffany, I know you sell real estate, so if we did decide to go to Tennessee, we'll definitely call you up. Blue Ice Aquatics says, can you take a higher TDS water from a fish tank to raise the TDS in a shrimp tank? I mean, I don't see why not. As long as you're out in alkalinity, you're at an alkalinity. the mineralization is what really raises up that TDS. All right, so I gotta hop off here. But before I do, you know we gotta feed some barbs, because that's just fun. That's what I've got to do, is feed all these fish. But man, you guys can tell the difference when I don't have the gimbal compared to trying to hold this up. It is so shaky. Are you guys hungry? No, they're hungry. They don't even have guppy grass in here. Yum, 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 yum. All right, where the glare's at. Here we go. Food storm. All right, well, I appreciate you guys all hanging out and being with us. And thank you all so much. Really, really appreciate it. Wow, I put a lot of food in there. I know they'll eat it, though. Those barbs can eat forever. Chomp. But yeah, lots to think about here for the future of LRB and just our house and everything. I know I built all that pond and stuff, but it's like we are seriously outgrowing this space. Like, I need big pond vats to grow. Yum, 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 yum. So honestly, I can't keep up with you guys. You guys are, I mean, with the website and everything, it's hard to keep up. And I hope you guys all have a great weekend. Until next time, everybody, peace.